RDTDaily.com presents a Tarabuster with comedian Tara Devlin.
All right. Hello, everybody. What's going on? This is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out. Sorry for being late. There's a lot of bullshit going on in the house. Fucking cats are fighting. Oh, I didn't mean to curse again. Okay, we meet here every Friday evening at 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining us. Come on over to youtube.com/C for channel/Tarabuster to hang out in the greatest chat room in American history. Hold on. Hey, enough. I apologize. We are in our home studio, so the goddamn, that's it. If you want, you got to become a patron at patreon.com/Tara Devlin to keep the show going and growing. Maybe one day we'll actually go into a real studio. I don't know. That would be a dream. I'll probably be an old lady by then. I mean, I am kind of old now. So, all right. Listen, thank you for hanging out. We also on Rockfin. We're also on the show, I should say, is also on other channels. And thank you, Charlie. It's especially featured on APS Radio News. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a little late right now. And I apologize again for being late. God damn it. Fucking shut up. Okay, maybe that'll do it. I really apologize, Charlie. Thank you for everything that you do for the show. And thank you for keeping the show going and growing by making it a part of the APS Radio News roster. Thank you so much. And also for your generous donations to the community cats, which mean a lot. And I like to say we're saving the world one cat at a time. Right? What else is there? Okay, I guess we'll do some more plugs if I can think of them. But actually, when I was just saying that about the cat saving the world one cat at a time, I don't know if you guys saw that Jon Stewart thing. He kind of got on my nerves the first show when he did the whole both sides on President Biden. Both, they're both old. Both sides. We don't need this both sides shit. I don't give a shit. Yeah. If Joe Biden is old, I don't care. We're not just voting for him. We're voting for democracy. We're voting for freedom. We're voting for an administration that isn't filled with fascists and relatives who don't give a shit about stealing. That's what they're there for, to cover things up and never ever complain. And they're in it for the grift. So I don't care if Biden is weekend at Bernie's. I'm still voting for him because I don't want to see the country fall into an autocracy. I don't know I guess it's okay if it falls into an autocracy for him. He's a rich white male, and that really shouldn't matter. We should give a shit about each other. But anyway, all right, that's not the point. But he did a tribute to his dog who passed away. And I was watching it earlier, right before he came on air. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. I'm not going to play it here because I'll get a copyright strike. But he's crying, and it's obviously sincere, and it made me cry. And I thought, well, that's a person with human emotions. Could you imagine somebody like Trump having ever crying like that, ever having the courage to be so vulnerable in front of millions of people? And that's what we need: more compassion, more of true courage like that. And I started thinking about, God, are we doomed here? Because it's getting really concerning. First of all, and one of the comments I put on that video over at YouTube with the Jon Stewart video was, make compassion great again, or make compassion normal again. Make compassion, one of the highest values, not just greed. There's a reason we feel for each other. We feel each other's pain because that's the way we were wired. We're supposed to we're all supposed to have, to be stronger together. Jon Stewart on the Daily Show. Robin says, "Who broke down and cried?" Jon Stewart. He cried about his dog who just died, and it went viral. And if you don't cry watching it, you're gonna, I don't know, you might be Trump. But it's, I mean, we all know those who love animals. I mean, I don't love them right now because they're annoying me. Cut it out. You see this shit? Oh my God. They're playing, but Ray, I don't care that they're chasing each other. It's the hissing that gets on my nerves. So let me do this. I'll start the show with a treat for you, and we'll take it from there, because I want to talk about the Supreme Court. We want to talk about the Boebert crime family. That's one thing I thought we should get into, and we'll see how it goes. I was gonna talk about that Libs of TikTok friggin' interview, that bitch, and maybe they've calmed down, because I was gonna play this video and go and put Ray in the bedroom and break them up. But have they calmed down? Have they calmed down? I don't know. Let me see. Here it is. Did you see this AI? This is the since I've teased it. Actually, let me see when the music is going to start. We got a minute. Okay.
Okay, now we need to talk about how constipated I am. You wouldn't believe how backed up my colon is. And it's mostly because of the garbage I eat. I'm like Oscar the fucking Grouch. My diet is horrible. But it's also because I'm just naturally constipated. I'm just totally and completely full of shit. I mean, I weigh around 300 pounds, but at least 100 pounds of it is impacted fecal matter. It's gross. And don't get me started on the number of toilets I've clogged, maybe 1,000 or more than that. And I tried wearing adult diapers, but when I have a crap explosion, they overflow. It's horrible. After I lost the election in a landslide, I didn't crap for a month, so I took a ton of laxatives, and I woke up the next morning drowning in an ocean of my own shit. It was totally disgusting. So when they say Trump shit the bed in 2020, they weren't kidding. And only I really did shit my bed. The biggest crap I ever took was 8 pounds, 9 ounces, like a fat baby, like no one's ever seen before. People had tears in their eyes and said, Sir, what a huge turd. No one's ever seen such a turd before. But it turns out they were talking about me, and I hear that a lot because I'm a walking deuce. I am what would happen if a gigantic piece of shit came to life, only more gross and more offensive.
Isn't that true? He is what would happen if a giant piece of shit came to life, only more gross and more offensive, and more dangerous, more damaging. Leaves a more pernicious stench. That's for sure. So, yeah. All right. So, I didn't put the cat in the bedroom. We'll see what happens. I'll take it from here. But, yeah. All right. Well, that's a way to start the show, with a little laugh. Anyway, let's go over here. Well, what I was thinking about was, I don't know if you go over to the Huffington Post. They have a headline, "It's happening again," with a question mark. It's happening again. Talking about what happened with Bush v. Gore. Is the Supreme Court going to screw us again? Will they, F this country? And they already have. And somebody asked me earlier, what's going on? Why is everybody so upset? Because the fact is, there was no reason for the Supreme Court to take this case. And I'm talking about this bullshit that Trump is asserting, that he, as the so-called president, despite receiving fewer votes, is immune from all prosecution. So he's immune when he squatted in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. He's immune when he was kicked out of the White House because he received fewer votes. And he's immune now because he's trying to get back into the White House despite receiving fewer votes. So, in the first time in American history, forget the revolution. You know, the founders fought a revolution to make one man immune. So to make one walking deuce, as they said in the video, immune. A turd come to life, immune from the consequences of his actions. And I'm kind of sick of it. I don't know about you, but I am sick of it. I'm sick of Eileen Cannon. I'm sick of Amy Coney Barrett. I'm sick of the Moscow Mitch running crawling into the sunset like a turtle after destroying this country. After basically, has he destroyed the country? It's not just being hyperbolic or what they have done is they have put the poison pills all throughout our body politic and tripwires. And it's to cover their asses, but also to weaken the pillars of democracy, like we were talking about on the other show. How, I think in the last show, we talked, it's like Jenga. Like you play that game of Jenga, and they start pulling on the pieces, and eventually the whole house of all the Jenga chips or whatever fall down. But that's what they've been doing. And shoving unqualified loyalists onto the court, and we've sat back and allowed it to happen. I guess because Democrats don't fight hard. They don't fight like our lives depend on it, and it's sickening. The fact that Barack Obama, I don't want to, we don't want to relitigate. What can you do? We can't go back in time. But when this happened, when Moscow Mitch prevented Obama, who was legally elected in 2 landslide elections, I guess this was before his second landslide election, but to seat a Supreme Court justice, or to nominate and have hearings for his nominee. The fact that Obama just let it happen. He did nothing except, why? And at the time, I remember us screaming about it. I didn't have the show then, but I remember talking to Mike Malloy and Robin Kincaid, and we were, and others, other normal people, saying why doesn't he just put Merrick Garland on the bench and let him then say, okay, there is no advice and consent. I guess I'll put him on there and let them come and sue me then. Let them, take legal action. Obviously, the Congress isn't doing its job. So I guess it's, I'll take your silence as a yes. And then why don't we break the norms, right? The Democrats never do. And we never fight as if this is, the death knell of democracy. But don't you see, this is what gave us the Roe versus Wade. I mean, the fact that the con man, a tax-cheating, draft-dodging, wannabe dictator con man with a fake university, a fake vitamin scam, who had to be put on an allowance because he couldn't get a legitimate bank loan, and the banks wanted to be paid back, and that's why he went to Russia to get in bed with the oligarchs. That's why he's compromised, and he's a traitor, but he's always been a traitor. He'd sell his own mother for $1. Give me $1. You got $20? He'll sell out the entire country to Putin because they don't have the strength to function in a democracy. But the fact that guy got to shove 3 Supreme Court justices on the court illegitimately, every single one that came after the debacle of the Merrick Garland nomination. We know what kind of justice he would have been. Just look at what kind of head of the Justice Department he is. Look at his meekness, his mildness, and we're in this boat now for, because of Merrick Garland. And I'm talking about us, the normal people of this country, the democracy, freedom-loving people of this country, standing by with our mouths agape as Trump gets to delay and delay and delay again and again the consequences for his life of crime. He gets to get away with it all the time. Why is this? And it's happened his entire life. He's been getting away with being a crook, a con man, a cheat. Mostly because he's gotten to hide behind the corporate structure, limited liability companies and what. That's what, because there's no actual person goes to jail. It's sort of like the who's the one, the Sackler family, who were responsible for addicting and murdering and killing millions of Americans, causing pain, chaos, death, mayhem, addiction, crimes, all over the country, especially concentrated in the red states. I don't know. Why don't they go to church in the red state? I thought they love Jesus. So they love OxyContin too. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But that no one went to jail. No one. Did they even, no one. There's no executives ever get to go to jail except Bernie Madoff, because he robbed the rich. That's it. He robbed the wrong people. If he had robbed you and me, the dum-dums on the lower end of the ladder, he would have gotten away with a slap on the wrist, paid a fine, something, whatever. A little bit of a fine. And then, not even a mea culpa. Did I say mobile? I don't know why I can't say culpa. But, there you are, right? Here we are in this kiss up, kick down, serfs and lords system, with a corrupt Supreme Court. And I've said it before, and I wish the Democrats would say, this is what concerns me. Because, okay, so Obama, we know how he was. And I could still see him in my mind, that I have that vision of him walking across the lawn of the White House, like going to the helicopter or whatever. With that, he's just, Mr. Casual while all this shit's going on. But it's also the fact that he had darker pigment. He couldn't show anger. He couldn't be like Trump. He couldn't have 3 different trophy wives. He couldn't have 5 different self-entitled trust fund brats by 3 different women and have stick his smaller than average penis into a porn star while his 3rd trophy wife was recovering from childbirth. So he couldn't do that. He didn't have the freedom to do that. Not that he wanted to. He's a happily married man, and which is why the Republicans are so disgusting. They mock Michelle Obama. They call her Michael, and they say she's a man, A lot of them actually believe that, because these are the same people that believe that that a tax cheating con man with a fake university was great. It was a great businessman because they saw it on reality TV. So they're not exactly the swiftest swiftest swifters. They're not exactly Swifties. So, yeah. Anyway, all of these Supreme Court self-entitled scumbags, I just can't stand that the Democrats don't, okay, what am I trying to say? They need to prime the pump. They need to get in front of cameras and say, this is an illegitimate court. But they won't. Okay, we'll be right back. You see, the Democrats, every time they get in front of a camera, they need to talk about how it's a travesty that a wannabe dictator who received fewer votes, who was shoved into the White House by a minority of Americans, was able to shape this court by the mere fact that Moscow Mitch McConnell played dirty tricks and didn't allow the president to have a hearing for his nominee. And like I was saying in the earlier segment, that's also Obama's fault for allowing it to go through, for allowing him, that's what gets on my nerves about Democrats in general. They're just like, oh, well, we lost that one. They give up. They acquiesce. They roll over. Now, we know if the shoe is on the other foot, and let's say, of course, it would never happen, that the Democrats had obstructed a Republican nominee, and we were living in an alternate universe. Do you think the Republicans would ever stop talking about it? They would never stop talking about it. They would call every justice that the liberals put on the bench or the normal people put on the bench, they would call them illegitimate. And they would call the Supreme Court illegitimate. They would remind the American people every single time that they had the opportunity that this is an illegitimate court put in place by an illegitimate process. And the sooner we get to fix it, the better this country will be. Because they are the reflection of a minority of ideologues who have no respect for democracy. And they don't care what the people want or what the opinions of the people. Well, nobody was asking them to touch Roe v. Wade, except for a minority, a very slim minority. No one was asking them, just like no one's asking them now to reach in and grab this immunity case, this immunity bullshit. Any one of us go and say, oh, I got immunity too. I'll put my name in and run for president. Well, yeah, I got immunity. We all got immunity. If you're running for president? Oh, while you were president. So an insurrection is something that you did because you were president, right? You called up the Secretary of State in Georgia and said, I want you to find votes for me. The votes that I need to actually win, because we won the state. He thinks that means he's covered it up. We won the state in our fucking minds. But then, of course, 61 court cases, some dismissed with prejudice because it was nothing but a waste of taxpayer money. They have no proof. And in fact, many, like Giuliani, he's losing his law license in different jurisdictions because he's a fucking liar. You can't go to court and submit fabricated bullshit as a lawyer. You can't do that and expect to continue to practice law. But that's the consequences of his actions. For some reason, Trump just keeps skating along. And this illegitimate court has absolutely no business going in and saying, oh, we're going to decide this? They know what the decision is. There's never been a precedent. When you go back to Nixon, Ford pardoned Nixon, saying that if I don't pardon him, there'll be a chance he could be charged for his crimes. So in nowhere in American history or any of our documents, any of our founding documents, our amended documents, the Bill of Rights, nowhere is the president a king. And it's an offense that this court that is so corrupt, they don't even care. Who knows it? They think that we don't see how corrupt they are. That's how corrupt they are. It's normal to them, I guess. You know, when you're living in an alternate reality, I suppose that you start to think that this is normal. When you're the billionaire's pets, when a billionaire buys your mother's house and lets your mother live in it for free, and you say, thanks, pal, can I get an RV out of you? Can I get a $500,000, or whatever it was? It was a very expensive one. I'm sure it was more than $500,000 worth. Oh, can I get a $500,000 vacation for me and my insurrectionist cult bitch wife? That, don't worry, I'm deciding cases that affect her, but no problem. You know, I don't get paid enough for this. So, of course I'm going to be a billionaire's bitch. It's not just him. Well, I mean, who paid Justice I Like Beer's debts? Suddenly, he was debt-free. He was well deep in debt on his financial disclosures forms, and then all of a sudden, he got no debt. Where'd it go? Who paid it? You know, when they get together at the Bilderbergs or whatever, you know, the picture of Clarence, Uncle Clarence, and all the other masters of the universe smoking cigars and everything. What do you think they're talking about? Do you think they're talking about making the world safe for democracy? It's unreal. Yes, they're helping the con man delay, just like, as Play Dave says on the chat, just like Cannon is doing in Florida. This fucking Judge Cannon, another unfit bitch, another joke, like the Nazis. The Nazis. This is what the Nazis did when they had power. It didn't, you know. The Weimar Republic didn't die overnight. It took a long time, and part of that process was corrupting the courts. And whenever they had an opportunity, the Nazis shoved their Nazi justices and judges onto the court. And whenever there was a crime, the Nazis would do everything in their power to make it go away, make it no crime, dismiss the crime. See? No crime. If the judge, and then you wrap it in the veneer of legal legitimacy with a corrupt judge. And yeah, Clarence Thomas, we all know he's received lavish gifts from billionaires. What kind of gifts? I mean, the guy is a pet. He's a kept pet of billionaires. And it's not like these are childhood friends. It goes back to, we knew each other when we were kids. We grew up. We met in grade school. And, you know, we're just the best of pals. They all became Justice Uncle Clarence Thomas's best pal. I don't know about you. What do your friends keep your mother in their home for free? Buy your mother's house? Like, that's what we were talking about this before. At what point are you insulted by this? Right? These Republicans are always like, we pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. You know, personal responsibility and all, right? Personal responsibility. Coming from somebody whose own mother is living under the good graces of a billionaire benefactor. And at what point do you say, hey, I can pay for my own mother's house. Don't you like me for me? Of course not, because they don't give a shit. These people they're compromised. They have no honor. If they had any honor, they wouldn't be chosen to be the Republican justices. They wouldn't be conservatives, for Christ's sakes, in this country. I wish they were conservative, frankly. A conservative in a democracy, what is that? They're not trying to conserve democracy. They're not trying to conserve anything. They're not trying to conserve the environment, the general welfare. What traditions are they upholding? They're only upholding the traditions of intergenerational aristocracy, the likes of which the founders fought a revolution to overthrow. That's their traditions. I mean, this is a kiss up, kick down Supreme Court. They never side on the side of the little guy. Are you kidding me? They never side on the side of conservatism. Reeling in the power of money and corruption. They're disgusting. Yeah, what else? Gorsuch, he's got his own ethical concerns and conflicts of interest, right? They're all of them. Let's see. Gorsuch faced criticism for his ties to conservative groups like the Federalist Society. That's another thing. They go and they speak at these conservative circle jerks when they used to have this. It was a self-imposed ethical standard where they didn't want to give the perceived appearance of impartiality or politicism. So, yeah, he also never, just like the rest of them, like Uncle Clarence, he doesn't recuse himself in rulings aligned with his own personal interests, of course. And he also has a big problem with transparency in his decision makings when it comes to his potential conflicts of interest. But we can't dig too deep because they get very triggered. These kings, I guess, these conservatives. And, of course, we know Justice I Like Beer, who is a rapist or whatever, sexual assaulter, sexual misconduct. Of course he's that. That's who he is. Yeah, and, of course, we never got to hear all of the dozens of other women that, during the hearing, that Trump and the Trump whatever, all the idiots in the Trump White House and the FBI at the time just flushed them down the memory hole. All of the supposed FBI investigation that supposedly went on, it didn't go on at all. It was ended, quietly ended, and that's the end of it. Yes, and then Robin on the chat says the Bumpstock case is insane. Have you read their textualist BS? No, I haven't, because it's so. I mean, anything to wrap their horrible rulings around the veneer of legal legitimacy. Oh, they're originalists. Give me a textualist. What kind of shit is that? It's so stupid. And, of course, they throw it out the window when they want to inflict their shit on this country. I thought that Roe v. Wade was precedent upon precedent upon precedent. This is what they said. That comes right out of their filthy fascist mouths. Oh, it's precedent upon precedent. That's what Justice I Like Beer said. And Amy Coney Barrett. The handmaid, Amy Coney Barrett. Yeah, the Bumpstocks, let me see. The textualist interpretation, Supreme Court consideration of Bumpstocks has sparked intense debate. And that's all they do, you know what I mean? And we were talking about this another time. And I'm hearing, as we watch the news, we hear about, for example, IVF, thanks to the con man who received fewer votes and shoving these three unqualified, horrible, indignified, without honor flunkies onto the court. Like, especially I think about Amy Coney Handmaid, how she couldn't even wait And I think she almost tripped over Ruth Bader Ginsburg's corpse on her way to her acceptance speech, because she wasn't even in the ground yet. She wasn't even fucking buried. And they shoved her on the court within 2 weeks of an election. And the people were already voting. And we're supposed to remember how, well, I guess we're supposed to forget how Moscow Mitch said that, oh, we couldn't hear the Merrick Garland, we couldn't have a hearing for him because it was 10 months out of an election. And so they were like, well, it's, let's scratch our heads and make some bullshit up. Oh, yes, it's a precedent because no Congress ever did this when there was a president of a different party in the White House. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We only did it because it was the same party. Right. Because they fucking hate this country. They hate democracy. They don't want to play by the rules. They don't want to have a compromise government. They want an authoritarian government. And they have been working at this since the founders rebelled against the aristocracy and the intergenerational monarchy and aristocracy. So this has always been the goal, the game that they play, is to drag us back to where everybody knows their place. The rich run and rule, and everybody else knows their place on the lower end of the ladder. And if you have any issues, don't come to government. Don't come to government for your problems. Don't think government is here for you. It's not here to promote the general welfare. It's here to promote the elite, the rich, just like in the system the founders rebelled against. But don't pay any attention to that while we're saying to everyone how we are originalists and textualists. Yeah, the founders set up a constitutionally limited democratic republic. Oh, well, pay no attention to that. Don't we're going to go back and we're going to use their very words to distort and twist and drag this country into an autocracy. And they've been prepping for this a long time. I mean, all of the cries about government is the problem, government is this, government. They hate government because they don't like anything that stands in the way of their greed. They don't want anything to regulate their greed. They don't like the Sackler family. Get out of the way, government. Here, we'll buy you off. That's what they did. They bought some FDA guy and gave him all sorts of, he eventually went to work for the drug company. And they paid for, what was it? They paid for some label change that said, this is a less addictive opioid. And it's all corruption, right? But that's the way they want it. They want government to work for the interests of the rich and nobody else. They need the government to rig the game, make it easy to steal, and make you powerless to do anything about it. Yes, the court's conservatives, known for their textualist approach, focused on interpreting the law, we're talking about the Bumpstocks, solely on its wording, raising questions about the legality and scope of the Bumpstock ban. Justices like Amy Coney Barrett and Neil Gorsuch, the two fuckers who shouldn't even be on the court, questioned whether Congress or an agency should have taken action on Bumpstocks, highlighting a central theme of their arguments. The case delves into the technicalities of how Bumpstocks operate and whether they fall under the legal definition of machine guns, which discussions on the mechanics of firearms and interpretation of relevant statutes. Unbelievable. Any little tiny effort to protect ourselves from the madness. And here comes the Republicans. Here comes the conservatives to fucking make our cities unsafe. Put all the guns in the hands of everybody. That's what they want. Because they want the American people to be scared and at each other's throats. Give them guns because they'll need the appearance of freedom. Because real freedom is going to be way out of their reach. Because they're not going to be free to see a doctor when they're sick, have living wages, decent environments. Let the corporations puke their corporate waste. Put it, it might save them $1 if they dump it in the stream. Right? Well, who cares? They're not going to drink the water. They'll be in their ivory towers. They can get their fucking water bussed in. So, it's unbelievable how we now have to be under the, the tyranny of this minority. It's ridiculous. And the Democrats, like I'm saying, they are, something has to start with framing the argument. Okay? They have to say, if we want to do something about this court, if we want to have a functioning court that works for the American people, not against the American people, like I was saying with these IVF, once again, everything's in chaos. That's all they do is add chaos. Hold on. Yeah, the conservatives. When, and I asked this question before, when have they ever added or contributed? I guess that's a better word. Contributed to understanding. When have they ever made anything better? They take things and they disrupt them. That's all they do. They add chaos. They add confusion. They add discord, not discourse. They hate discourse. They like discord. Amy Coney Barrett's involvement with the people of praise. And then remember, so she's in a cult. That's another thing. So this bitch, they were waiting to shove her on. As we said before, I've told you before how Trump wanted to shove her on. What happened was she was on the list from the Federalist Society. Trump he doesn't know his ass from his elbow. He takes a list. And the other thing I have to say, and I was thinking about this earlier, because they're like, Trump is not a leader. He is he's basically an amplifier. And and how do we know he's not a leader? Because they're saying, Trump he's now, he's the standard bearer of the Republican Party. He's transformed the Republican Party. No, he hasn't. He has amplified the base of the Republican Party, who are the base of the Republican Party has always been their fringe. The Nazis, the racists, the freaks, the dumbasses. Who think Jewish space lasers are causing wildfires. And he's not a leader, as evident by the time. I wonder if I have that video where he went in front of one of his Nuremberg rallies, and he encouraged the dum-dums to get the vaccine, right? Because he, at one point, was like, I made the vaccine, Operation, what was that? What do they call that? Warp speed or something like that. I'm responsible for the vaccine. Get the vaccine. And they booed him. And he never talks about it again. Now they deny it. When they asked Trump about, did you get the vaccine, he brushes it off. He doesn't answer the question because they're not leaders. He's not a leader. He's nothing but a big buffoon. He's like the biggest asshole who has the microphone. And he's reflecting these ignorant, fear-based conspiracy theories, racism, and all and all of the division. He's just simply reflecting it back to them, and he's putting it on, full volume. That's it. What's up, honey? The producer is tapping me on the leg. What's up, producer? You want to come up? All right, get up here. Get up here, producer. Here he is. All right. Everybody, calm down. But it's the same thing with the rest of the Republicans. They all keep that under wraps now. They don't want to talk about the vaccine because they unleashed their Frankenstein monster. It could have been different. They didn't realize initially, right? They could have taken the vaccine and told everybody to get the vaccine. And now we wouldn't have to be dealing with the resurgence of all kinds of, diseases that we thought we eradicated. Polio is coming back because of these fucking assholes. Do you see what I'm saying? Measles, mumps, rubella. They're coming back because of the Republicans. They're telling these idiots, don't get your kids vaccinated. And now they're coming to school with measles and shit. They're spreading diseases. They spread mind viruses, body viruses. It's really another example of what do they bring that's good. What do they add? Except they're nothing but the id, right? A walking id. They're nothing but greed personified. Selfishness, greed. Oh, God. And then this fake religiosity. They always got to tell us how religious they are, how much they love Jesus. I really wish they loved Jesus. I just saw this picture of the con man praying. Oh, I wish I had grabbed it. It made me want to puke. Him and two, one of these two of these evangelical assholes. These fake ass, give me money and all this other shit. So here's a Trump coin, selling prayers and shit for this asshole, and they're praying with their heads bowed. Yeah, because he's so religious. It's just like Jesus. Like Jesus would have. Like, for example, here's Jesus's very own president. Here he is at the border.
No wonder they come. I mean, you look at what this governor, Newscomb from California, isn't that his name, Newscomb? What he's done to California is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. What he's done to California is unbelievable. Yeah, he's pretty good for California. They like him. Newscomb. What the fuck? Where do we live? Where do we live? Oh, and look, you know what really irritated me? Here, let's watch this.
No
again.
wonder they come. I mean, you look at what this governor, Newscomb from California, isn't that his name, Newscomb? What he's done to
His name is Newscomb. Look at that fucking asshole behind him. He's got to bite the corners of his cheeks and look down. Ha ha. Isn't that funny? Newscomb. What a clever man. What a leader he is. Now, if a child behaved like that, you would put him in the corner, right? You would discipline the child. Now, if the child was running for, let's say, student government, and then they had the student debates or something, they got up and they did their little spiel, the students, like, vote for me, more hot lunch, or I'll put cupcakes on the hot lunch or something, whatever. one of them went up there and they said,
no wonder they come. I mean, you look at what this governor, new scum.
And they called their, yeah, look at new scum over here. Of course, he'd get a big laugh from the 9-year-olds. But the adults would put the kid in detention. They would say, no, you're not qualified for student government. I'm sorry. New scum. Exactly, Ed on the chat. We're the world's 4th largest economy in California. Oh, new scum. Look at that new scum. I mean, where the fuck do we live? What an embarrassment to this country. What a disgrace to every country. I mean, to every person that ever, it's a disgrace in front of every country, but what a disgrace to everyone who ever died for this country. It makes me sick when I think about it. How much he just disgraces the sacrifice of every person that ever wore the uniform and gave their life. Anyone who ever just gave their life for this country. So that piece of dirt can what? Can steal because he can't face Putin. He can't. How is he ever going to face Kim Jong-un if he can't corrupt the democracy? How could he ever get a tacky dirtbag roach motel in Moscow if he can't corrupt the democracy here in America? If he can't steal the election to escape his life of crime. That's why he's doing this. And you got to tell me, and I got to hear all day on the corporate media how up in the polls, down in the polls, right? They're always giving us the stats, not the stakes of the election. What are the stakes? Right? I don't care about the stats. What are the stakes? For putting a con man who is in the midst of a coup back in the White House despite receiving fewer votes. We see what the stakes are for women, for gay people, for trans people, for any person not born with a trust fund. Hold on. And I saw on the, on the corporate media, they're like, oh, now the number one, what do you call it? Number one fucking issue. I can't talk. I don't know. I hope I don't have Alzheimer's. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever it is, I'm more qualified to be the president than that con man. But anyway, they keep telling us how now the number one issue is immigration. Right now, 50% of Americans are like, immigration's the primary issue. So. Okay, that's why, of course, I think it's a good idea for Biden to go to the border and start ripping off the veneer of this con job of a party. They don't give a shit about immigration. They just want to make immigration, they want to make it chaotic. They want to tickle the racist funny bones, and they want to make it worse so they could use it as an election issue. And then they could look tough by allowing, sitting there while a woman and 2 children drown. They can talk about how I wish I could shoot them, or I will be charged with murder, because it is murder, but oh well. Not if you're a Jesus-loving Republican. If you're shooting the desperate and vulnerable, you're doing exactly what Jesus would want you to do. So, oh my God. they keep saying that, now it's immigration is the number one issue, but that's because they keep hyping it up. You understand? I'm glad that they, the Democrats are trying to nullify the con of this immigration issue that the Republicans like to politicize. And something, yes, has to be done about it. But, people have to understand that the Democrats are the only party that is actually has anything, has any proposals to handle it. And the Republicans are standing in the way. So, okay. The other thing is the fact is the corporate the media in general sets the agenda. So now they're like, the public, the number one issue is immigration, but that's because they keep talking about it. Now, because of the media sets the agendas, just like they set the agenda that, everyone is, Trump and Biden are neck and neck. Because they keep saying it. You have one half of the country watching Fox News and a channel that has to pay $2 billion for lying to them. And it's, and it's offshoots that are even worse. And then you have the other half of the country watching the so-called it is the corporate media on all sides, but the liberal media telling them that the polls are neck and neck constantly. It's a feedback loop. So whatever you focus on, whatever they focus on, is going to become the primary agenda. If they focused on, the fact that that Reaganomics turned the country from the most to the least upwardly mobile, we, might not have had to wait over 40 years for trickle down to become a laugh line. The laugh line it is. Oh my God. Look at this. And here's another thing. I just, as an aside, I'm looking at this fucking tweet here. You see what I mean? Another thing that gets under my last nerve. Okay, Jamie Harrison, proud husband, father, American, fuck off. Anyway, this Wesley Hunt tweet, the Democrat Party's worst nightmare in one room. And it's all black people or people with darker pigment. The Democrat Party. Oh, because 5 people are Republican. I mean, and 90% of the those with darker pigment are Democratic or vote Democratic. So, okay, whatever. That's besides the point. Here's 5 dudes. But on the subject of perpetually adolescent and nothing to offer, the Democrat Party. There you are again. It's the Democrat Party. You see, this is a party of adolescents. They're children. They have nothing. New scum. Nervous Nancy. Democrat Party. It's all the same. They have nothing to offer but little schoolyard bully pejoratives that add nothing. What do they do? Does this solve the immigration problem, you fucking traitors? Does this solve any problem? They only make problems. And this is yet another example. They're not helping. They're not sincerely trying to have a conversation with people. The Democrat Party. Oh, yeah. What they're doing is they're doing what they've been doing for years. Turning the 35% of the authoritarian followers, the morons, the MAGA morons, into just hardcore authoritarians. They want one party rule. how could they ever vote for a Democrat? Because the Democrat Party. How could you even have a conversation with someone from the Democrat Party? Yeah, it is the height of disrespect to call somebody outside their name like that. And to do it again and again and again, and then go on TV and do it again, and then it spreads, and everybody who is, they want to be in with the petulant 12-year-olds, so they got to say Democrat Party, and then the ones who say Democratic Party, they're gone. The ones who maybe want to sit down and have a government and understands that this is a country of 320 million diverse people. Not everybody's a fucking racist ass Republican. You see? Oh, but I'm the only one who calls them Republicans now because I do it because of that. When they start saying Democratic Party, I guess I'll stop saying Republican Party. Because that's all they got is a con. The con of, nah, 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 nah. Where's your solutions? Oh, new scum. You know new scum. Well, what is it that you don't like? Huh? What is it that you are upset about? What policy don't you like of the governor, Newsom? What is it? Do you have an alternative? Do you have something better? Let's talk about it. Oh, no, new scum. Fucking so tedious. Unbelievable. So, yeah, and for example, this is how useless this con man is. I mean, they have nothing. They have nothing but the mirror. They put the mirror up. Hey, and the amplifier. Let me amplify your racism. Let me amplify all your fears, your stupidity. I'm going to amplify it. I'm going to sell it right back to you. And we're gonna put it on overdrive. We're going to put that volume up to 10. We're going to, we're just going to allow this horrible, the wing of the right wing of the Republican Party that are literal Nazis. Let's get them. They're driving the train now. It's the truth. I have video. We have video. I'm going to play it for you of the Nazi. They literally have Nazis at CPAC. Here we go. Well, while I'm talking about it, here they are, giving the Nazi salute. Here they are. This was something that the right wingers were like, oh, it's fake news that the fake news is reporting that there were Nazis at CPAC. But here they are. You see the lederhosen? They're wearing lederhosen. This is a Nazi crowd here. And one of the guys, I guess, thought it was funny. Hey, give us a salute. Isn't that hilarious? Triggering the libs again. You go, guys. Absolutely. But here.
The immigration issue is extremely simple. Seal the border, deport all the illegals.
Who the hell can win when you have 16 million people pouring into our country from places unknown? They have diseases nobody's ever even heard about. I'm sorry. I feel badly for the people, but we don't want to have this contagion in our country.
Our leaders are determined to repeat every mistake that led to the collapse of empires before us. Here are just a few of the common themes
right
from
out
history.
of a Nazi
mass immigration and infiltration by foreigners
What's
who don't
up with
share
this,
our values and culture or
dopey
even our
fucking
language.
sleepy dude. That was somebody they wanted to put him as the president, right? Like he was a presidential candidate. That fucking idiot. Open your eyes, maybe. Yeah, and like I'm saying, as far as issues are concerned, they asked Trump, well, I don't know if they asked him, but this was on his ramble sheet where he was speaking to a bunch of morons, and he could, because he doesn't know, what is he talking about, IVF? This is an issue that they created, because now all of a sudden cells are children, and Republicans, this is thanks to Trump, thanks to Moscow Mitch, thanks to the corrupt, without honor, the dishonorable conservative, whatever, the ones who stepped over Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the one that didn't have any decency to say to Moscow Mitch when he called, say, no, thank you. We give these Republicans like Liz Cheney, we give what are the other ones? Not just Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, but the ones that were inside the White House, like Cassidy Hutchinson and whatnot. We give them Brad Raffensperger, when Trump called and was like, I just want you to find, the votes that will make me the president, and so I could steal the election. And he said, no, thank you. I don't want any part of your coup. But when Moscow Mitch called Justice Gorsuch, before he was Justice Gorsuch, when he called Justice I Like Beer and The Handmaid, they were like, sure. I will participate in this coup. You have corrupted the court. Hey, I'll do it. Hey, for the first time in American history, you've stood in front of a president that, stood in front of the American people, really. The millions of Americans, the majority that gave Barack Obama, that voted for him to have this responsibility of nominating a Supreme Court justice. You stood in the way of that, given the FU to the democratic system, and I'm gonna go along with it because I want power, and I want to give the oligarchs power. I want to pull up the ladder behind me. We want to get this shit going. We want to roll back the American Revolution. I mean, enough is enough here, right? We got Bush v. Gore. We shoved one president in the White House through the Supreme Court. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the corruption going. If they had any honor, if Gorsuch had any honor, he would have said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to participate in your dishonorable act of destroying democracy, because you're not violating a norm. It's not just about power. We should be adult enough to play by the rules, And if the majority of Americans want Barack Obama to nominate a Supreme Court justice, we should have the decency and the respect enough for democracy and all those who died for it to, play by the rules. That's what they died for. They didn't die for a filthy fucking turtle face who represents the amount of people that are the same population of goddamn Astoria, and he and the rest of the minority, this tyranny of the minority, they don't give a shit what the majority says. They don't give a shit about precedent upon precedent. They're gonna fix the facts around the policy. Give me the document. That's what they're good at. Give me the paper, the document. I'll pick the words, and I'll give you the justification for your corruption. And they got the nerve, they're all Christians, though. They're all Christians. Everybody. All of them. Like, wait, hold on. This is how stupid this filthy Trump is. They asked him about, IVF, like I'm saying, and because he doesn't know. He doesn't know. All they know is chaos. He don't give a shit. As long as he stays out of jail. So this is how stupid they are. But play me some more polls about Biden. That, they just don't, 50-50.
IVF in every state in America. You saw what happened. It's become sort of a big story.
He doesn't even know what IVF is. That's the truth. He doesn't understand. And because of he says IVF, because now they're afraid, just like the pre-existing conditions protections, and they all had to come up with ads. We will always protect your pre-existing conditions, because there's backlash. Because they don't want you to have a baby, I guess, or to choose to have a baby. They don't want you to choose to not have a baby. That's the way it is. They want to control every aspect of your life and wrap it in the veneer of babies. We just love babies. So somebody said something about IVF, and this idiot who knows nothing about, he doesn't know how to spell IVF, I heard.
Put out a statement, and
he starts talking about truth, his tacky, knockoff social media.
Politicians are calling me. Thank you for that statement. I put it out on a thing called Truth Social. It's the hottest platform. It's also where I speak. It's hot, and it's truth. Everyone said, you'll never get the name Truth. I said, let's try it. Sir, don't bother. You're not gonna. They wanted something with 5 letters, like tweet. I don't know. Is it a tweet anymore? I don't think so.
Life?
It's X. So what do you do? Say you're going to tweet? I don't know. They changed the name. I was sort of happy about that. But think of it. They said they had all these different names, these crazy names that nobody understood, and like Xenon,
like nobody ever seen. Like nobody's ever seen. It's unbelievable. Yeah, he's a dumbass. But we only hear how voters are concerned. They think Biden is too old. Well, I think Biden knows about IVF. He knows what it is. Right? He knows, like, when he's asked about it, he's not like, like nobody's ever seen. IVF, we did a great job there. It's getting noticed more and more, like nobody's ever seen nowadays. And no one ever knew it could happen either. But we did that. We could thank ourselves for it. Oh, thank me. And thank me. Hold on a second. It's unbelievable. Oh, and he also... Here's another thing the dumbass said.
Right now, in a number of states, the laws allow a baby to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change.
Imagine if Joe Biden said something like that. Imagine.
Right
it's
now,
wrong.
in a number of states,
I'm gonna
the
do
laws
something
allow
about
a baby
that.
to be born from his or her mother's womb in the 9th month. It is wrong. It has to change.
Isn't it wrong? It was wrong for your mother. I wish something had changed for your mother. Oh, God. What did we do to deserve this? And I just want to say thank you, Jim, for your super chat. And thank you, Elise, for your super chat. And thank you guys for your support, being patrons and all that at patreon.com/Tara Devlin. Thank you, APS Radio News, for putting this show on there. And thank you, Charlie, for all your support, emotionally, spiritually, all that. I really can't do it without you. Thank you so much. Here's another thing the stupid tax cheating con man said recently.
And the governor is going to help because there's nobody better at this. It's called
Nobody's
energy.
better.
And we are going to, as I
like nobody ever seen.
Now everyone else is using it.
Yeah, listen, I'm sorry.
We are going to, as I use this expression, now everyone else is using it, so I hate to use it, but drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill.
He said that he invented drill, baby, drill, the expression. Anyway, who cares? Let's move on a little bit. We're going around because I see the Progressive Voices time is ticking away. I wanted to talk about, I guess we could talk about, I mean, it is a Tarabuster, but I want to talk about Lauren banned from the bowling alley Boebert. Her continuing the Boebert family tradition of being criming and lying, right? Isn't that them? Wait, hold on. All my windows closed. Where is it? Criming and lying. That's the Boebert way. But before, hold on a second. Guys, damn it. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm looking something up. Damn it. All right, whatever. We'll get back to it. Yes, so Boebert. This is just like a Boebert, ain't it? Here's a local news story about it.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert has been arrested and charged with nearly 24 crimes, including multiple felonies.
The 18-year-old is accused.
The beginning got cut off. It's not Congress. It's not she. It said the son of Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, but that did have a nice ring to it in the front there, right? Not the Congresswoman herself.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert has been arrested and charged with nearly 24 crimes, including multiple felonies.
The 18-year-old is accused of breaking into vehicles and then stealing wallets. Fox 31's Ashley Michaels is live in studio tonight with the very latest. Ashley.
Well, police arrested Tyler Boebert yesterday. He's already been in court and released, but he's still facing some very serious charges. Now, according to arrest documents, he's accused of playing a role in breaking into at least 4 vehicles in the Rifle area, then using stolen debit cards. The purchases were mostly at gas stations for things like fuel, snacks, even a blue Gatorade. There's also a $50 charge at McDonald's and a charge for more than $700 at an online clothing shop that got flagged and declined. Now, we're told this happened when he was with a group of friends, so it's unclear exactly who did what in this string of crimes. But police identified Tyler using security cameras from the gas stations. You can see it here in this photo. It's tough to see, but he was wearing a hoodie that said Shooter's Grill on it. That's the restaurant his mom, Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, used to own. Now, in a statement, she said in part, "I love my son, who's been through some very difficult public challenges."
Here she goes. There's your party of personal responsibility. He's been through some difficult, very difficult times because of us, right? Because she's a congresswoman. This is how she always blames everybody. You know, he's been through some difficult times. Maybe his mother hasn't been there. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe his father's an alcoholic who beats his kids so much so that the kids call the police on him. And then she gets on the phone like, "Hi, I'm the mother." And how about the neighbors? They can't get along with any of their neighbors because Jason Boebert, the husband, is drunk. And the kids are running around without supervision, crazy, wild, on what do you call that? Those RV things, zooming through the neighborhood. And the neighbors are like, "Slow down. There are kids here. There are pets here. You're going to kill somebody." And the kids respond, "Fuck you." You know, that's a good mother there. She allows them, and then that's the picture. Doesn't have a Christmas picture of all of them with assault weapons. So much fun to be the cool mom, right? This is the mom who basically, I mean, really, she was cheating on her husband. Either that or she's just a whore. Legally and peacefully, excuse me, I'm sorry. She's a hypocrite. I don't care. Like, whatever. Go and go jerk somebody off in a theater. If that's, you know, I mean, but she's not exactly at, you know, La Cage or whatever. She's not at some burlesque show. She's at a Beetlejuice show. You know how sexy Beetlejuice is. But, you know, this is the son that made her a 36-year-old grandmother. And she made her mother a 36-year-old grandmother. So it's the family tradition, I guess. It's unfathomable if this were the family of name anybody, you know, on the other side of the aisle. Do you think that the Republicans, you know, would have anything nice to say? Of course they would exploit it. They'd laugh about it, just like they laugh about Hunter Biden's addiction. Right? They laugh about a nut job that breaks into Nancy Pelosi's house and almost kills her husband with a hammer. That's a real laugh riot. They when the Obama girls, one of them went to a concert and they said smoking pot. Who cares? And then the right wing were all losing their minds. Well, she never broke into anybody's cars. I mean, this kid was breaking into, it wasn't just one. He was on a crime spree. Him and his friends. He broke into, he stole money from a woman with a brain tumor who had $75 to her name, and he stole it. He stole her last $75. That's, you know, your Christian family. You're very reputable, Christian, high morals, you know, morals for you, for thee, not for me. If she wants to tell everybody else about their family, what they can do, who they can form a legal marriage contract with, she's going to talk about, you know, how Christian she is, while posing with her sons with assault weapons. And there's no supervision. Clearly, there's no education. Why is her son, if he's having sex, and also, I forgot almost the best part. According to the police report, and this was just in it, and as a segment of the police report, he wasn't charged with it. He made a sex tape with an underage girl. You know, he's of age now, and the girl was a minor that he distributed. So there you go. But we will win, you see? Because we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is the end of the Progressive Voices part of the show. Come on over to youtube.com/CFA channel/Tarabuster or APSradionews.com for the rest. And we will win. I will see you soon. Become a patron at patreon.com/Taradevil. See you later. I keep thinking it's going to cut off. See you soon. All right. Let's continue with the news report.
That he didn't ask for. Breaks my heart to see my child struggling, and that he should be held accountable.
It breaks your heart. Where the fuck are you? Do something about it. It breaks my heart. He's been provided multiple opportunities to get his life on track. I will never give up on him. As an adult and father, barely an adult, barely, Barely an adult. Is he even an adult? How old is he? I think he's 18. He just turned 18 or something. He's clearly not well. Why are you robbing cars? And then spending it on green Gatorade. Because you're an entitled little brat who thinks, like Trump, the laws don't apply to you. That's it. You have no respect for other people. That's how you behave. You have no respect because that's how you were raised. Exactly. That's how he was raised by his mother, who has no respect for other people either. They have no respect. You know, they can't even call anybody Democrat Party. You know, they can't even say Democratic Party. They see their mother acting like an idiot. Talking about, you know, just acting like a child. And what do you expect? Where's their mother? Where's the father's drunk? The mother's gone. Go tend to your kids. Don't give them assault weapons and RVs and say, have a nice time. You're on your own, bub. I got to go and, do this hit on Breitbart or Steve Bannon. Go tell everybody how the Democrat Party is going to kill them. Wants to, have IVF and take their genders. He's 19, Play Dave? Oh, let me see. I guess you're right. I mean, you're right. I thought he was 18. Let's see. Well, I thought he had that kid at 17. That poor kid. And the person he made the sex tape with is not his baby mama, by the way. You know, it's not like he's stealing to get diapers. You know, it's not like he's like a member of the of the deserving poor. Well, it says that on this, looking at the AI, I asked how old is Tyler Boebert, and it says Tyler Boebert was born in March of 2005, making him 18 years old as of now. So maybe he's turning 19. I don't know. Who cares? It doesn't matter. He can't grow a mustache. He looks like a child.
Poor decisions just like any other citizen. Now, this is the latest in a string of legal trouble for the Boebert family. Recently, there were accusations of a physical fight between the Congresswoman and her ex-husband. She did end up filing a temporary restraining order against him. Now, she has said that is one of the big reasons why she moved from the Western Slope to Windsor, Colorado instead, and why she is currently running for Colorado's 4th Congressional District instead of CD3, which is the seat that she currently holds.
She ran from her district because she is probably going to lose her seat. I think she's going to lose anyway. There are a lot of other very equally appalling wastes of human DNA also vying for that seat, that in a very filthy red, right, fake patriot district. So I think that she will probably lose. And that's going to be a good day. That's going to be a mini great getting up morning, because we'll eventually, sort of like Sarah Palin, every time she rears her head, on Cameo, when I go and look at Cameo and I see her face, I think, oh, her again, right? That's right, Trucker John on the chat. The brain doesn't fully develop until 25. Well, he doesn't have a lot, he didn't have a very good upbringing, clearly. I don't know. I never did that. Not that everybody has to do what I did, but I was equally fucked up as a child and didn't have a lot of supervision and did, smoked pot and things. But we never broke into cars and stole money from people, and we just didn't have that in us. That kind of ugliness, I guess. Just steal from breaking into... I guess maybe he thought he could, he's above the law. I don't know. And what kind of gang of thugs is he hanging out with? He had the kid with a girl who was over 14. Right. Right. But they were both minors, apparently, at the time, which makes it not, rape. But let me look at this thing. Hold on. Where is it? Because I actually read the police report. And it was kind of interesting. Let me see. Do I have it? Oh, no. I downloaded it. And that's where it just mentions that he did a sex tape. Because they interviewed, the police went and they, were they needed to find the gang that were responsible for all these break-ins. And it's really it's so sad when you read it, not for them, but for the victims, especially the one with the brain tumor who has to deal with this shit. She says she has $75 to her name, and they took that from her. And it was on some kind of gift card. Because they're fucking dirtbag. Yes, Shayla did her, let me see. The trespasser broke into her glove box and caused damage to the right hinge, making it difficult to close. So Shayla LaVey Eli owns a red 2015 Chevy Cruze bearing the license plate, blah, blah, blah. I learned from my partner's body-worn camera that Shayla had her vehicle broken into the night before. So this was going on for a long time. It was an ongoing thing. The police were aware about it. And they were trying to get to the bottom of it and figure out who were the dirtbags. And so the trespasser broke into her glove box and caused damage to the right hinge. You could see me explaining to Shaya, there's no L in there, but that there had been two other police, what the hell? Hold on. I just want to put this up. Oh, wait. Okay. There we go. So, okay. Shaya did some of her own... Okay, yes. Here we go. Previous paragraph. You can see me explaining to Shaya that there had been two other people before her that also had their vehicles broken into. Shaya informed me that she had 3 different cards that were stolen from her vehicle, and the first was used on Monday night at approximately 03:20 hours. In the morning. The card payment was processed at 10:50 a.m. Shaya did some of her own investigating and contacted the Come and Go, which is the convenience store, on East 26th. The manager informed her that her mother's card ending in blah, blah, blah was processed for the purchase of a Red Bull. Her mother was not able to see the transaction. Okay, Shaya had her wallet containing $75 in cash stolen, as well as 2 of her personal Venmo debit cards and her Colorado driver's license. That's the other thing they were saying. They were using people's identifications because they're, filth. She was informed by the manager that all attempted transactions were rejected. Yeah, okay. Let's see if they can find... Oh, it won't let me search. Well, the only reason they know that the sex tape is because one of the people that they interviewed that they used to identify Tyler that they said, oh, yeah, that's Tyler. He's the guy. He sent out a sex tape. And see, it's not that it's not, think about this. You just saw your mother give a hand job to some dude in a theater. Not a dude, not your dad. You saw her. Of course they saw her. Of course they saw that footage. It was all over. It was jokes on late night television. And you make a sex tape with a underage girl, one of your friends, I guess. And you not only did they make the sex tape, he distributed it amongst his peer group. Because I guess he was proud of it. Yeah, his mother made pretty much a fool out of herself. She made a racy tape. She acted like... I mean, that's how she acts in a theater on a date with somebody. In a crowded theater. No shame. What do you expect the son to do? To think about that. What kind of a kid... at that age, makes a sex tape and sends it to their friends? I don't know. It sounds like he needs help. He needs an intervention. God knows what else is going on. Is he doing drugs? He could be. Sounds like druggy behavior. Stealing, but they were using the money to go buy potato chips and McDonald's. Fucking get a job, bitch. Well, you know what I mean? Get a job. Boebert. Well, I mean, his father is on the board of some oil company. I wonder if that's still happening since he's getting divorced or is divorced now. We never hear about that. I don't know, man. Democrats certainly, they don't know how to fight fire with fire. Or fight with, the fire of being on the right side of the issue. So, yeah, and in fact, remember, I'm sure her son saw I don't know if I have this. Let me see. There was a video. Did we talk about this? Where the candidates in Boebert's district, they were asked, if any of them were ever arrested. Yeah, I think we played this.
District are celebrating the fact that most of them have been arrested. 6 of the 9 announced their arrest to the cheers of a debate crowd tonight.
It's incredible.
Candidates laughed and high-fived about their arrests to the loudest applause of the night.
What do you expect?
Marshall Zellinger joins us now from Fort Lupton. And Marshall, these candidates for the district that goes from Dougco up to Loveland, then out to the Plains, they among them have arrests for altercations with police and striking a family member, drunk driving. And tonight that drew laughter, high fives, and applause.
And it appeared that the candidates raising their hand were raising their hands high as a badge of honor.
Isn't that
interaction
insane?
at this
Well,
9-candidate debate drew the biggest response from the audience and the loosest interaction with the candidates.
Have you ever been arrested?
Ha 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 ha.
Do we get to?
That is laughter, applause, and high fives from a question about being arrested. The question stems from the recent revelation that former State House Minority Leader Mike Lynch was arrested in 2022 for drunk driving and weapons possession. Here is how some of them describe their arrests.
I will tell you, I've been arrested twice, and every time it was for fighting because somebody needed a little attitude adjustment.
Oh,
we need
yeah.
people that understand people that are human and make mistakes.
My arrest was just a simple traffic violation that was unpaid.
No, it wasn't. It was a little bit more complicated where we talked about this. She didn't pay she didn't show up for court. And it wasn't just unpaid. when you don't pay your traffic tickets, they don't fucking arrest you unless you don't show up. If you're ordered to appear in court and you don't show up, that's why you are arrested. And then she was also arrested for interfering with police who were dealing with a bunch of drunken underage kids at a carnival or some kind of community event. And little Miss Christian got in the middle and encouraged the kids to run from the police. So she was arrested for obstructing the police, police business. And there was a few others. Well, her husband was arrested for exposing himself. We know that.
Congresswoman Lauren Boebert's interaction with police is a little more than an unpaid traffic violation. There was also an altercation with law enforcement at a country music fest.
Oh, that's what
I don't even know, though, Kyle, if it would have mattered what the arrests were for or if they were accurately portrayed based on the reaction of the people who were here to watch this debate. Former State Minority Leader Mike Lynch took exception with Boebert when she pointed out that he currently no longer has his gun rights because he's still on probation for his DUI arrest. When it came time for the candidates to ask each other questions, he said he had a question for somebody else, but then pivoted to Boebert and asked her to define the word carpetbagger, which means basically a politician who is running for office in a district.
Whatever. Oh, and also I forgot to mention that Boebert, right before she... I think it was minutes, frankly, that it hit that her son was arrested on 22 felonies. That she had tweeted, she tweeted the classic, "The Biden crime family will go down as the most corrupt political family in American history." You know how stupid that sounds? Right, failure to appear. Thank you, Trucker John. You know how stupid that is? When the whole Biden crime family thing is so forced, it feels, doesn't it? I don't know. Does it have legs with the morons who think Jews have lasers that cause wildfires and that a con man is a genius who, the one who stared into the sun during the eclipse is some kind of genius? The one who received fewer votes, him. Does it work? The Biden crime family thing, does that actually get traction? Because, one of the things about Biden, it's sort of like what they did to Obama, too, though. It doesn't have to make sense. Because, with Obama, it was very racist, of course, no matter what. He was either like, shucking and jiving, or he was just lazy. You know how they are. They. And, it was never, he was just a smart guy that, in spite of, and the personification or the embodiment of the American dream, who, in this racist ass country, raised by a single mom, through his own work and brain power and determination, got an education, went back. He could have been a lawyer, could have been a big fancy lawyer, making money. Like, that's the only thing that ever matters to right-wingers who are Christians, especially. But went back to his community to help his community. That's how they used to denigrate him, Shouldn't be a community organizer. You should be, some kind of Roy Cohen. You should be somebody that steals, has no ethics. Someone like Amy Coney Barrett or Justice I Like Beer, involved in the first corruption of the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court stopped not the first corruption, but the first time they stopped and stepped in between the voting process to install a president. He was involved in that. Yeah, you should be like that. You should be like somebody that, knows how to play on the team that, will slit their own mother's throats to get power and money. Not be somebody that goes back to their fucking community and helps the community. How stupid. How funny. Fucking hate these people. I do really wish they were Christian. I really do. I wish that they would just give me just some behavior that is in any way aligned with the so-called savior they pretend to worship. Right? Where's the compassion? Is there ever any compassion for anybody but themselves? All right? They never cry about anybody. They don't think about anybody but themselves. People left behind. The only time they ever pretend to care about anybody else is if they can use them in some way to gain, some political points. But they never care. They don't really care. We will always protect your pre-existing conditions. Dummies. Except we've been fighting since zygote to not only stop them from even being a thing to protect, but overturn it. You stupids. We will always protect your IVF. Please. Except we're not lifting a finger to do anything about it. There's such victims, but, they're such Christians too. I don't know. It's very confusing sometimes. How much they have to tell us all the time how Christian they are. It's sort of like how they have to tell us all the time how patriotic they are. It's like they love Jesus. They love, like when the con man was like, yes, I'm a proud Christian. Yeah, that's it. I'm a very proud Christian, even though we've never seen him in a church unless there was some kind of photo op involved. Unless somebody was getting tear gassed. He didn't even go in the church. So like, yeah, here we go. Here's my Bible. Everybody see it? So Christian. Oh, God, I hate them.
As you know, the left is trying to shame Christians. They try and shame us. Us. I'm a very proud Christian, actually.
Us. Yeah, that's it. Us. Yeah, us. Suckers. Oh, I can't take it. All right, let me see what time it is. Because I have... oh my God. The time is flying. I guess I'll just do this last quick story. Or story as a quickie. She said quickie. Bump. Where is it? Because this kind of got on my nerves. It really does fit in with what we're talking about. This Libs of TikTok horrible person was interviewed. Did you see this? It got a little bit of viral, something other. It went viral. This Libs of TikTok asshole, Chaya. How do you pronounce her name? I don't know. Who cares, right? She can't say Democratic Party, so I don't need to pronounce her name normally. But the thing that she's the personification of everything that sucks in the world. And she's incredibly ignorant. And she's very anti-gay, anti-trans, and it's all about the children, of course. It's like, you know, the Nazis in Germany during the first target when they got power was the trans and gay community in the progressive Berlin, right? So that's who she is. But she's a, you know, if this were 1930s Germany, we know she would be a Nazi. She is a Nazi. She just can't, she doesn't have the strength to admit it, but because she has all the characteristics. And the thing that, here, I'm just trying to get the thing up here. Hold on. It's a long interview. I'm not going to play the whole thing, obviously, but I want to show you something. Hold on. Here it is. We'll have to play it off the screen. Wait, hold on. Here we go. You see that shirt she's wearing? She's wearing this picture of... So this woman, Taylor Lorenz, is a writer. And she apparently cried on MSNBC once because she was getting death threats or something. And this Libs of TikTok dummy, she shows up with a picture of the interviewer on her chest, right, on her shirt, and proceeds throughout the entire interview to complain about how everyone is bullying her. You say, isn't that conservatism in a nutshell? She shows up, this woman who, this interviewer, you know, this writer, who is nothing but respectful to her. And good on her, frankly, because she doesn't mention the shirt. She just, you know, whatever, bitch. That's how you got to play it. She thought, I guess this Tyler, whatever the fuck, thought that she was going to throw her off or something. But, I mean, this is what we're talking about. It's this on the same level as New Scum. The professional victims while being the victimizers. You know, it's like the Nazis. You know, everyone was picking on them. They only had to, they had to go after the Jews because the Jews were attacking them. They had to invade Poland because the Poles attacked them. They were the bullies. They were the instigators. It's like Putin in Ukraine. It was Ukraine that caused the Russians to invade by the mere fact that they were trying to be a democracy, and that's very threatening. And Putin he's got to protect himself. Right? But the absolute bottomless immaturity, it's like the ignorance, what do you call it? The unearned arrogance is beyond. Hold on. Let me see. Now, I watched the whole interview, but I don't have time to. Right. We wouldn't, I wouldn't want to do that to you anyway. Hold on. Where are you? Yeah, let's see. Now hold on. Let me just play it. It's just going to be random because I don't have the video.
I started posting about the stuff going on in schools there.
Oh, yes.
Like I do across the country. And then, people were very upset that this was happening in their schools.
She's talking about,
and you've been once.
Books being banned.
What qualifies you to be on the board or, have to do with education, the education system there, being
saying that I don't believe you have children in the Oklahoma schools. You don't live in Oklahoma. You've only been once. How does that qualify you?
Yes, and because Republicans have nothing but, triggering the libs as a governing policy, one of these Oklahoma, whatever, the governor of Oklahoma put this bitch as the head of the something, right? The school board? Something, he gave her a position of actual authority. It's like Trump's daughter-in-law being the head of the RNC. There's nothing to it except how can we fuck this shit up even more?
Serve in that capacity.
What are the qualifications that they require to be on this committee?
USA Today reported on that, but I believe it was that you had to. Oh God, I might get it wrong, but I think you have to be some sort of educator. You have to have worked as an educator.
Okay, I was a teacher once.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So you feel like that
I finally figured it out.
Inform policies in Oklahoma.
I wasn't aware of any kind of qualifications that they require. I don't believe they require any qualifications.
Yeah, I was thinking more even just informally. But that makes sense. I guess, speaking of Oklahoma, obviously we saw the tragic death of Nex, a young child.
Tragic.
Yeah, so tragic. You're the one of the bullies who helped facilitate it. So tragic.
After people were asking you to address the issue, and you said, to the haters and the losers, who are you addressing in that statement?
Anyone who hates me and anyone who's a loser.
Okay. Why would you choose to post that in response to people asking you to speak about this child's death?
It was not a response to that.
I guess why would you post that prior to making any statement about Nex's death?
So, just to be clear, you're trying to police me on when I'm allowed to post selfies?
I'm just curious.
Oh my God. It's beyond, I'm sorry. It is so unbelievably tedious. Imagine. Oh, and then she goes on about how there's a study in Sweden that says that trans people kill themselves after they get confirmation surgery, but she of course calls it mutilating themselves, which is she's just a horrible person who has no firsthand knowledge. She has no knowledge. And the interviewer asks her, "Do you know any gay people? Do you know any trans people?" She said, "No." Like, it's so arrogant, the ignorance and the arrogance. That is kind of, the brew, the witch's brew of conservatism. Unearned arrogance and bottomless ignorance. And yeah, that's me. I could be on the board of, I could be on an education board. Oh yeah, okay. I was a teacher. In what world? Now the interviewer was very respectful to her, and maybe, I don't know if this woman was a teacher. What did you teach? She's probably a teacher in her mind. She doesn't have a certification, clearly, because that would be her first thing. Well, I was a teacher. Why? What makes you qualified to be on the board? I was a teacher, and I know I'm an educator. I have a degree in education. No, she's got no. I mean, I should look that up, but I don't. We're running out of time. I wish I had a virtual assistant or a producer that wasn't a cat. Yeah, so it's just so amazing, and how fascism thrives on, and conservatism thrives on professional victimitis. But like I was saying, she picks out this study that says trans people. There's one study, but there is and it doesn't say they kill themselves. So, all right. So let me qualify or clarify. She points at a study. A study in Sweden says trans people commit a large amount or percentage of trans people kill themselves after confirmation surgery. But she says they're doing it because of the surgery. That is not what the study says. And it says that they are killing themselves because of, lack of affirming care after the fact. So that is conservatism. Hold on. We're not done. There's the friggin' music. I gotta finish this up. But we will win. Remember, we're on the right side of history. We're on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News. We will win. My name is Tara Devlin. Become a patron. Did I say that? At patreon.com/Tara Devlin. And I'll see you soon. Okay, yes. Let me just finish this because the time was a ticking. So, okay. She says that, this is conservatism, right? This is what they do. They pick one thing that doesn't actually say what it says. What they say it says. It's like exactly what the Supreme Court is doing with the Bumpstocks or bullshit textualism. And they go in and they'll pick and choose whatever fits the facts around the policy. And the fact is, she's saying she's only doing these things. She's only being a hateful, ignorant, transphobic, homophobic ignoramus. Well, I'll put it like that. Because she cares. She's only doing it for the betterment of everyone that she's never met, doesn't know, has never walked in their shoes, couldn't give a shit about, and suddenly found herself with a nice little cottage industry of hate that's paying her to be, as ignorant and just like Trump. They don't have any actual experience or scholarship, but they feel, he's in his gut. Why don't you just shine a light on it? Why don't you put some, wouldn't it be great if you could disinfect it, put some disinfectant in your veins and clear it out like a cleaning? And she's, as far as, she's, it's the fascism, the professional victim trope. And she's one of the things that the interviewer brings up is, how can you be so anti-trans, anti-gay? How could you make your entire living on attacking a minority group, given the fact that you're ancestry, you come from Jewish ancestry, and given how Jews were treated in Nazi Germany and throughout history, how can you square those things? And of course, she sees no correlation. She sees absolutely no identification. But that's like Stephen Miller, the Nazi Jew, whose family came to the United States under the asylum laws that he's talking about infesting the United States, right? And it's beyond sad, frankly. It's a goddamn tragedy. It's a disgrace. But she pulls one study out of her ass to confirm her hate, but it ignores the extensive body of replicated research over years indicating that transgender people who receive all of the desired gender-affirming care, including surgery, as well as supportive aftercare, experience a significant reduction not only in suicide attempts, but in drug and alcohol use and other self-destructive behavior. That's what the scholarship says. Not just one study that says, oh, we saw that trans people had killed themselves after gender-affirming surgery. 2. it didn't say that they committed suicide because of gender-affirming surgery, but that's incidental to her. And she also ignores the fact, here's the overarching fact, that the only reason that the trans suicide rate is high in the first place is because of people like her. Why are she's so concerned with trans people killing themselves? Why is she behaving like a hateful bitch? A hateful monster who just chasing these people through life. Leave them alone. Shut your mouth. You don't understand. You don't have to understand. It's not up to you to understand. I don't understand why you would show up to an interview to cry that everybody's a cry bully. That's one of her words. She calls the woman who interviewed her a cry bully. But she's not the one showing up with a T-shirt of the woman who's interviewing her crying on it, right? Like, that's supposed to make her embarrassed, I guess. She's supposed to be embarrassed about that or thrown off. Oh, and she also brought a box of masks because the interviewer wears masks outside because she has some, I guess, health issues that she's caring about. She don't want to die. But so she brought a bunch of masks. So she has no respect. We're all supposed to respect her. Cry bullies. Everybody's cry bullying me. The irony, these people don't need a wall. They need a mirror to look at themselves. And they don't need the mirror of Trump, the biggest cry bully of them all, right? Whine. When they said there would be so much winning, I didn't mean, I didn't know there'd be so much whining. But, yeah, imagine, though, if we lived in a world where instead of the ignorance, we responded with compassion. And if you don't understand, who cares? Shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth. But it's too much to ask for ignorant dullards like her. That would be woke or an infringement on her freedom to be absolutely awful to everybody else while demanding that everybody cradle them and respect them, no matter how immoral and criminal they behave, right? Like little fragile what is that? Fabergé eggs. That's how they behave. We all supposed to. We can never respond to let's let your hatred roll. You poor little eggs. We're cry bullying you if we expect any level of decency from you. There's some. There should be some standards to join the public discourse. But, you could go take your ideas back to the fringe where they belong. I mean, God damn it. That day can't come soon enough. Right? It's coming. Believe me, it's coming because people, everything is like a pendulum. We've had enough with the tedious childishness and hate and ugliness. I mean, I have had enough. I don't know about the Republicans or that asshole, for example, who stood behind Trump, biting the sides of his cheek, thinking it's so funny. Ain't that funny that the con man called the governor of California new scum? Ha ha ha. Imagine if nobody laughed. That's what's so depressing about living sharing the same air with the con man. Is that the assholes who laugh. What's so funny? Don't you have any decency? But no, of course not. All right, guys, listen. It's time to go and hang out in unconsciousness on the astral plane. Yes, they exactly play Dave on the chat. They'll never look in that mirror. It's true. They don't. They want the Trump as the mirror. They want the big giant oaf to stand there saying all the racist, ugly, hateful, braggadocious, narcissistic, self-serving shit that they have swirling around their own empty heads. That's why they love him. He gives them permission to be small. Look, you look at him. Oh, he's big. He's not big at all. He's small. Like that asshole. Well, another one who just got sentenced to 25 years to life. He should have been sentenced to life. The one who killed a young girl because a carload of people drove into his driveway. They were lost. And they used his driveway. And he fucking shot them. And the girl died. One of the girls, 20-year-old, died. Because of some prick who was a Trumpanzee, by the way. And where is he getting this from? Same one, like the kid who rang the doorbell because he was lost. And the fucking asshole shot him through the door. That's republicanism. That's your freedom? We don't have freedom to be, to make a mistake, to turn around in somebody's driveway. That's why those men who gave their lives on the beaches of Normandy died, right? For that kind of freedom. So sickening. Listen, guys, thank you for hanging out. I love you all. I'm going to do a lot of things together. And I appreciate it. All right, guys, I love you. Thank you, Haiku, for being the moderator. Thank you, Jim, for being a moderator, and Super Chatter, and Elise, and everyone else who are patrons and supporters, and Charlie from APS Radio News. Thank you so much. And we will win. Oh, there's other shit, we got to talk about, but we'll have to save it for the week. So I will try to do a show during the week, probably Wednesday, hopefully. In the meantime, remember, we will win. Why, Tara? Why? Because we're on the right side of history. We are on the right side of decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. We stick together. We win. My name is Tara Devlin. Thank you for hanging out, guys. And I will see you. Have a safe weekend. Don't turn around in anyone's driveway who has a Trump flag. Don't even look them in the eye. Just keep going. It's not worth it. Well, we'll vote them into history's trash bin. They're not gonna like it, but that's fine. We'll find them room in the prisons next to the other idiots. All right. I'll see you during the week.